Welcome to the series of webinars and tutorials on the Zultys product line of business phone systems. This video will show you how to use the basic features and introduction of our reporting package, MXreport. The audience for this webinar are Zultys partners and end users. This introduction supplements but doesn't replace the training by your Zultys support organization. And really what we want to do with this introduction is get you started making reports. Do understand that generating reports does take some time and effort. Your Zultys support organization is your source of detailed training. And they're the ones you want to contact to get the MXreport software, the MXreport manual, and any further questions on how to use MXreport. The user guide has detailed information about the CDR and call center report fields. So if you have a question about what they mean and how they're calculated, the user manual has a great set of definitions for what they are. So you download and install the MXreport application. This is a Windows application, and you will log into the MX. You have the option of logging into the MX itself, the phone system itself directly, or if you've externalized the CDR database with using the archive server, you can actually run MXreport against the archive server as well. This is the main interface of the MXreport application. There are 3 different report types. Every system has 38 built-in reports that are in the MX admin section. And we have optional reporting packages for CDR type reports and or call center type of reports. So if you are licensed for CDR and or call center reports, you're able to run those, but everybody can run the ones under the MX admin folder. The application is available through your Zultys support organization. Some of the key features are intuitive drag and drop user interface to build custom reports quickly. You can build reports based on data fields, ranges, and qualifiers, and the optional reporting packages, the CDR and call center reports, can include charts. You can create, save, and share the report templates, so with other people in your company. This is a built-in graphic reporting tool. You can schedule these reports to automatically distribute via email or save straight to your computer or network servers. And the reports can be saved in a number of common formats. And the framework lets you customize reports in very specific ways and specific time frames. So it's very flexible and powerful to be able to build reports using MXreport. So we'll open the MXreport application. It's a Windows application, works on all modern versions of Windows. And then you would sign in to the MX or the external CDR server. This is the MXreport window. Again, the built-in reports that are available in every system are here in the MX admin folder. And we have pre-made templates for CDR reports and for call center reports. So if you are licensed for CDR and or call center reports, you'll be able to run those. Going to the file menu, you can create a new template, and you can also import and export templates. You can run the reports, and then the tools will give you the ability to configure the FTP servers, network folders, and email settings, and tasks. So once you create reports, you can run them automatically based on tasks, and we'll show you that in just a minute. So the built-in reports are there and available. You can just select any of the reports. We'll go ahead and just double click to open the call center reports. You can specify the built-in reports date ranges and time ranges. So we'll go ahead now and just select year to date. And we can specify the time ranges. So if you have a call center that's only open certain hours, then you can specify that. I'm going to go ahead and just run this report. This is running against one of our lab systems. And so this is what the built-in reports would look like for the call group detailed report. Once you run that report, then you can go up here and save it in any of these formats. So PDF format, Excel format, text file format, so a number of different report type formats that you can save them to. And it's that easy to run the built-in reports. Some of the built-in reports give you the ability, in addition to specifying the date range and time range, will also let you specify users or extensions. Just depends on the kind of report. And then we have CDR reports and call center reports. We do include some templates, blank templates that you can use as a starting point. I'll get to those in a minute, but let me just show you how easy it is to create a new template from scratch. So we can just go either up to the File menu and select New Template, or we can just click the New Template button here. I can make a CDR or call center report if I'm licensed for that. So I'm going to create that report. And the call center reports look like this. The fields that you can add to the report are on the left here. That automatically defaults to the call count in and out, up to 4 different grouping by or sorting. And then it also opens up the default as previous week, and then the time frame is 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. But we can easily change that. So I'm going to go ahead and just double click this. Select current year. This is a system that doesn't have much data on it, so I can just go ahead and select it for the whole year. And we can have date ranges be relative dates, like I selected here. You can have equals a specific date, or between 2 different dates, or after a particular date, or before a different date. So number of different features there. And if you have this checkbox checked, when you open that report, customize that field. So I'm going to go ahead and just click OK. Now I'm building the report while I'm running it against the server. So you can see this refresh button. We can go ahead now. I've changed the time frame. So I'm now going here and looking at the report for the current year. But now if I want to add certain fields, I can do that. So let's say I want to add how many calls were answered, and maybe the time to answer averages, and maybe time to answer intervals. And maybe I want to know how many calls were abandoned. So abandoned is when the person calling into the call center hangs up before they get the chance to talk to somebody. And maybe we just want some time to abandon, minimum, maximum, and average. So now I've added these fields. When you add a field, you can see the green checkbox next to the field name here. And again, I'm building the report, so I can go ahead and refresh it. So now I've refreshed that report. And if I'm happy with this report, I can go ahead and preview the report or run the report. So I'll just go ahead and preview the report here. And it's doing the calculations. And we'll bring up the report here. So we can see this now as a finalized report. We've got grand totals here for the time period. We have then for each day, we've got the totals for each day, and then the hourly totals as we go through here. And we can go ahead now and scroll through this for all of the information. So if I'm happy with that report, click here to save that report. A couple of other things that I might want to include in the report, and I can do that in Report Properties. So I can click on the Report Properties tab. I can specify the title of the report, page orientation, portrait or landscape. Can do different. I can include page numbers and some other options here. I can include chart types. So we have a number of different chart types that you can include in this. And I can then go ahead and, if I made any changes, I can go ahead and save that. And now if I wanted to schedule a report, I can just go up here, click Schedule Report. I can either add it to an existing task, or I'm going to make a new task here. So we'll call this and I can trigger this. So I want to So when do I want to run it? Do I want to run it every day, every week, or once a month? We have some choices here. So let's say this is going to be a weekly report. I'm going to go ahead and specify the day. So I'm going to run it on Fridays at, make this a little bit later, at say 11 o'clock. I have the report here that I've just been building, but I can go ahead and add other reports. You can run multiple reports on the same schedule. I can copy it to the local folder on the computer that the MXreport is running. I could copy it to one of the network folders, to an FTP server, or what's most common is that you can send reports to email addresses, and then you can just check the boxes here for the report formats. So I can save it, for example, in a PDF format and an Excel format. So whatever formats I check, I can go ahead and save those. And then the last thing that I need to do here is I need to set the conditions. So here I can specify the relative date. I can go ahead and specify the time frame, and it can be these hours, or you can customize that. And now when I save this schedule, I can click OK, and it will run this report at the scheduled time frame. So that's creating a report from scratch. There's a lot of different fields here, as we showed earlier in the slide. If you're not sure what the definitions of these fields are, it's in the user manual and has great descriptions of the definitions. You can go ahead and just run this. We can change the level of sort, up to 4 different levels of sort with lots of different choices here. And then once I save that information, I can go ahead and close this. Now this report will run automatically, but I can go in and run it manually if I want by just opening it and running it. And if I wanted to save this report and export it for someone else's use, I can certainly do that. I can just go ahead here and right-click on this. I can export the template. That becomes a file on your computer, and then you can email that file to someone else who wants to run MXreport. They could import that template and be able to either run it as is or continue to modify it to customize it for their use. All right, so I just showed a call center report. Call center reports being great for call groups and getting performance metrics. And one of the examples that were in the call center report was the abandoned call rate. Now, another kind of report you might want to run is a CDR report. A CDR report would be for all of the sessions. So in this case, maybe you want to not just know the percentage of callers that were abandoned. Maybe you want to get a listing of the calls that were abandoned. So we can do that by going to a CDR report. So I'm going to go ahead and click New Template up here. Instead of a call center report, if you're licensed for CDR, I'm going to do the CDR report. So this is what comes up by default in a CDR report. Different fields on the left from a call center report. We also have the date range. So I'm going to, because this is a lab system, I'm going to go ahead and change this to current year. And these are the fields that are set up here. So in this case, the fields that I'm going to want are, maybe I don't need all of these, the global call ID. This is a global number that's unique for every call that's traced through the entire call, but I can go ahead and just remove this column. And in this case, maybe I really don't care about the action, because what I'm looking for is the calls that were not answered, so I can get rid of answered here. But what I do want to add is the ACD result. So ACD is kind of a generic term for call group, so this would work on any of the call group types. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag and add this. Let me just go ahead and refresh this again. We can see some of the calls were delivered. And if I keep looking, I'm going to be able to see other statuses, so delivered, and eventually be able to see abandoned. So in this case, what I want to do is add a clause. I really only want to look at the abandoned. So I'm just go ahead and select ACD result, and the result we want is abandoned calls. As you can see, there's some other choices here. Let me go ahead and just click this. Now I'm going to go ahead and just click refresh. And so now I'm seeing only the abandoned calls. And I'm sorting by date. If I wanted to sort by other parameters, I could do that. So now I'm ready to preview this. I'm going to go ahead and preview this report. So here it's going to give me a listing of all of the abandoned calls and by the call group. Here you can see who the agents were that were presented the calls, and we can see that they were abandoned. So that's just previewing it. One of the things that might be kind of useful is to go to the Properties tab. Now the Properties tab, you can customize the title. You can make it landscape or portrait view. In this case, probably portrait is fine. But one of the things we can do is include a summary. And for reports that are going to want to have useful charts, you can actually add the chart option. This is not one of those kinds of reports that would be good to have a chart, but if you did want to include a chart, we can do that with a number of different parameters. And we can now, when we preview this, we're going to get a summary at the top. We can go through the entire list as we're looking through, and we can see the date and time. In this case, this is an extension because this is a lab system, but this calling party would normally be the caller ID of the person calling your company, and then the called number could either be the extension or the DID of the call group. This is an example of a CDR report. Just a couple of other things to take a look here at the fields. If you have call attached data, you would run a CDR report for that. So as I showed you, you can easily create new reports. We also have some built-in report templates that are included that you can just go ahead and customize. So I'm going to go ahead and just customize the busy report, the busy hour report. Now I can just go ahead and double click it, but if I wanted to clone it, I can just right click, clone that report, and now I can go and edit that report and add my customizations. So here we've got the time frame, so I can go ahead and make that. I'm going to make that the entire year for this demo. But you can make it whatever time frame you want, and then we can specify the call groups. So we can just add the one or multiple call groups that you want to do. And we'll go ahead and do 2 of them here. And now I can go ahead and refresh this, and it'll run the report. Now I'm combining, in this example, I'm combining these in one report. I probably want to keep them as separate items. So maybe the first level of sort is going to be the group name, and then I'm going to sort it by date. I'll go ahead and just refresh this. So now for this group, we can see the results, in this case for the whole year. Now for this example, maybe I want to sort it by month instead of by date because it's a whole year's worth. So let me go ahead and just rerun that report. And so now I have the information here sorted by call group and then sub-level sort by month. And again, you can have up to 4 levels of sort here. So we added the groups by adding a clause. And you can add clauses for a variety of things. You can have clauses for the called number. So if you've got a DID for a call group or some other function you wanted to measure that, you could do that. So we'll go ahead and just do the called number. And then you can have includes one of the following, and so you could just enter in phone numbers that you want to do. These would be, in this example, the probably the DIDs of customers calling into your call center, and so you can just enter one or more of those. And again, we have other choices here. So as we add these clauses, it gives you additional flexibility in customizing the report for exactly what you're looking for. And we can group. So this example, I now added this. So the group is going to be one of these groups, and the call number is going to be one of the numbers that I would add in here. So you can click here to make it an or if you want. So again, you can be very customizable and flexible about how you want to structure the query for your information. And once you have this report saved, you can run it manually or schedule it. So I'll go ahead and save this report. And so now it's ready to run whenever I want it to run. So that's basically the introduction to MXreport. Again, you can use the built-in reports here. Those are 38 canned reports, come with every system. So every Zultys phone system, you can run these reports. And then we have the optional CDR reporting package, which is kind of a cradle to grave recording package, or we have the call center reports. And then when you're done, you can go ahead and just close the application. And then if you schedule reports, the application doesn't need to be running. It can run in the background. The computer that runs on would need to be running. It can't be turned off or asleep, but you don't need to be actively using it. As long as the computer is up and running, it'll run these reports on a scheduled basis. So this completes the Zultys MXreport tutorial. Please see our other tutorials for additional features and capabilities of our system. Thank you for watching.